So I am here today with Sasha from You Must Fitness. She's a coworker with me over at Fit Academy, and she is the kettlebell queen. I consulted her because I'm not professional in kettlebells, and she is. So I wanted her to teach you guys one of the most compound movements that I think is very important to incorporate into your strength training routine, which is the kettlebell swing. Okay, so Sasha, tell us what you like about the kettlebell swing.
Awesome. Yeah, so I love the kettlebell swing. It's one of my favorite go-to exercises if I'm getting a quick workout in, if I'm traveling. What I love about it is that it is incredibly beneficial for the backside or the posterior chain. Yep, exactly. Glutes, hamstrings, back, all those muscles that become a little dormant on us as adults, as we sit more at desks, as we sit more in cars. So I love that about them. I also love that when done correctly, really low impact on the back while providing a lot of benefit. So the risk to benefit ratio is high when performed correctly. The third thing I love about them is their ability to help you with your conditioning or your cardio while being fairly low impact on your knees and on your ankles and on your hips, which can be impacted if you do a lot of running or a lot of sprinting. Some adults really find that to be hard on their bodies running. So instead, I program a lot of kettlebell swings into my clients' programming so that they can see the cardio benefit while not injuring themselves if they're prone to that when running.
Awesome. Okay, so why would you say that kettlebells are a good place to start for the beginning lifter or even like the intermediate who's trying to learn how to use a barbell to deadlift or barbell to squat, etc.?
Yeah. So I really like kettlebells to start for a lot of clients because they're light and they're easily accessible tools. So you can put a bell right between your feet and be the center of gravity yourself rather than having a barbell that sits a little bit out in front of you. So you have to work around that barbell a little bit. It's just a little bit more complex. We're used to small items like picking up purses, picking up cups of water. Look, a literal thing.
Mugs of coffee. Picking up Starbucks.
Yes. We're used to picking up small items rather than picking up really big, long, awkward items like a barbell. So it feels like something we're not so unused to, but barbells can be a little bit tricky in that way. So if I start someone on kettlebells, they can evolve to barbells if that's what they want or if that's what their goals entail.
Cool. Do you want to explain the difference between, like, for say, this type of kettlebell and the little smaller kettlebells?
Sure.
Like the benefits?
Yeah. You'll notice that some kettlebells are these big bubble style bells and some of them are these little bells, and it might surprise you to know that these two bells are the exact same size. Big bell is 10 kilograms, little bell is 10 kilograms. The benefit that a lot of people find with these bigger bells is that no matter how heavy the bell gets, it's still the exact same size, so it will always lie on the same part of your hand, no matter how heavy the bell gets. So there's that similar tactile feel on the outside of your arm. What a lot of people find beneficial about the smaller bells is that there is an increase in size as you go, so they can see the progress as they continue onward. I find too that they're more compact and they sit a little bit closer to you, so the center of gravity is closer the lighter the bell. If you're getting into something like, we didn't go into this today, but like a heavy Turkish getup, a really heavy big bubble bell sits so far away from you that it can actually cause you to lean forward a little bit, whereas a compact bell, the same weight, will sit a little bit tighter. And then the last thing that I really like about the bigger bubble bells is that a really light, like an 8 or a 6, is a wonderful training tool for teaching someone or for learning the kettlebell deadlift because it sits nice and high off the floor, whereas if you were to try to grab a 6 or an 8 kilogram to learn the deadlift, you've got to reach really far down. And usually if someone's learning the hinge for the first time, that means their hamstrings are also tight and they're not going to be able to reach far down enough to grab that without rounding them back or compromising their form in some way.
Totally. And the technical name for these is competition bells, but bubble bell is better.
Bubble bell!
Okay, so I'm going to have Sasha teach us how to get into the basics of starting a kettlebell swing. They're really important points to make, and so I'm going to have her describe them to you. so that you can learn where to start, and then we'll go into the actual swing itself.
Perfect. Okay, in order to graduate to do the swing, you first have to be able to hinge properly and pick up weight in a deadlift properly. The hinge is a body movement that's pretty imperative for us as humans, so it's very important to get right, and it's a skill that many of us have lost in our adult years as we have desk jobs and sit in cars for long periods of time. So it is important to go over in some detail, so we'll do that today.
Yes.
I'm just gonna have Kaileigh actually demo a hinge.
Just right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put my hands on my hips.
Perfect. And no, that's perfect. And what I like about what Kaileigh did is she put her hands on her hips, which is a really good cue for your hips to move backwards in space. A lot of people try to squat or they try to turn the hinge into a squat. It's very common that we all do that. So I really approve of putting your hands on your hips, almost chopping, and then sticking your hips back and going from there. So go ahead and get into that position and then stay down there. Cool. So you'll notice she's got a nice neutral spine. Perfect. Nice neutral spine. Her shins are more or less parallel to the ground. Perfect. Yep, and then she's got her hips back, but also pretty high. So you don't want them low, again, into a squatting position. Go ahead and get kind of low. So you get in that squat position, you won't be able to perform a hinge properly in that position. You're gonna feel it in your back. It's gonna be really uncomfortable and awkward. So sitting back, making sure your shins are vertical, making sure your back posture is more or less neutral. Perfect. Cool. All right.
That is a hinge.
Hinge.
But now we're gonna add to a kettlebell.
Yes. So a weighted hinge is called a deadlift. So go ahead and step directly over the kettlebell. That's really important. You don't want the bell or whatever implement you're using to be in front of you. It puts a lot more pressure on the spine, and it's not the path of least resistance. You're gonna have to pull it towards you and up rather than just worrying about pulling it up off the ground.
All right. So hinge, back.
Perfect. Yep.
I'll turn it like this.
And you'll notice she's sticking her hips back. That's the first movement pattern that she's exhibiting, not moving her knees forward, not bringing the bell out and away from her. It's straight up, straight down. If we were to draw an arrow from the bell, from the ground up to the top position, it's just straight up, straight down. Hinge perfection.
Big glute squeeze.
Yeah.
Glute squeeze.
Glute squeeze. It's all about the glutes. So now for the swing, go ahead and step right over the bell. Perfect. And then take about a foot of a step back. Perfect. That is going to be the swing setup. You're going to try to have an equilateral triangle right between the bell and the feet. Perfect. Okay. The first part that we're going to learn right now is the hiking of the bell, or getting the bell into the back position to propel it forward through the hips. So, should I demo it first?
You can demo it. Yeah.
I paused. Okay. To set up the hike, I'm going to have Kaileigh get down into a hinge position, perfect, and then tilt the bell back. She did a perfect job on that. So you don't want the bell to be stationary. You want it to be pushed back, all ready to go backwards. So you're already setting the momentum backwards. Perfect. Then I'm going to instruct her to try not to move her back, try not to move her legs, but try to swing the bell high and fast up into, oh, that sounds dirty.
To the crack. Between my legs.
Yeah, there it is. Like, but high between the legs. It can't be low. Okay. Now in this position, I'm going to have Kaileigh hike the bell back high between the legs and then bring it right back into position. Those good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 2 more. Nice. 1 more. Nice. And then you can go ahead and stand up. So Kaileigh did a great job of moving the bell, but not her whole body, so she kept herself really stationary and low, which is going to come in handy when she stands up in the next step. So, go ahead and stand. Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to have her do is hike the bell and then stand up using her glutes and using her hamstrings to come up quickly. Go. Yeah. 2 more.
Same motion?
Exactly. Yes. 1 more. Yeah, those look so good.
Cool.
I get really excited. Super good. So now that she's gotten the hike and the standing with the bell down, what you want to do solo before you start stringing swings together, I'm going to allow her to do 5 swings at a time. And I want her emphasis to be to come up quickly, come up sharply, squeezing her glutes so she propels the bell with her glutes and hamstrings rather than raising the bell with her arms. Go for it.
Hinge.
Okay. 5 in a row. And 5. Yes.
See?
Those are solid. How do they feel?
Great.
So good. All right. Those look amazing. The last thing I'm going to address is the kettlebell breathing. That is a really important thing to learn, especially as you get into higher reps of kettlebell swings. It's a really sharp exhalation. As you're bringing the bell up, it does 2 things. One, it protects your back as you're coming up from a pretty deep hinge. It also helps to motivate your body to move quickly because it is a fast breath.
Okay. Do you want to do that?
Yes. Okay.
I'm unfamiliar with that,
Yeah.
but I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I've heard it.
Well, first, to learn it, you can put your hand right here on your stomach and then make really fast little hissing sounds. So, it feels silly, but it's super useful. All right, so hand.
Look at that hinge. Solid.
You want to make sure you make that sound on the way up. If you come up and then make the hiss, you've missed the point of trying to use that breath to your advantage.
Okay. So when I swing, that's when I...
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
What's up? Okay. Oh, that feels like winter.
Nice. That's the swing, and she nailed it. Just make sure that you have a hinge, you have a good deadlift, and that you try to do each component of the swing separately before you start to string a bunch of swings together for safety.
Yep. Perfect. All right.
Alright, so I hope you guys learned something in that clip. I hope that you can learn to master the kettlebell swing because it is very imperative for a very functional, strong body. I am going to continue to bring videos like this to you guys because I want to share the knowledge of all my peers and other people I know in the industry that have great things to say. So I hope you guys like and subscribe this video, to this video, or to me. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next clip. Have a good week.
Sports thing. Sometimes I overtalk on video.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever say it. All right. Okay, so the first skill we're going to go through is the hiking of the bell, or getting the bell propelled through the...
Propel it.
Yeah. Yeah.